Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Carthage Campaign. Last time, we continued the war against the Roman Republic, a war which we are about to win. Now, we currently occupy all of Roman Italia and the northern section of Roman Magna Graecia, as well as the nation of Nuceria, one of Rome's feudatories. In southern Roman Magna Graecia, they're currently being pretty badly damaged by an invasion from the Epirotes, who have crossed over under the leadership of their very martial king Pyrrhus. This is the historical event where Pyrrhus came over to defend the Greeks of Magna Graecia. And I believe the Epirote missions actually recreate this by having Pyrrhus being able to make Epirus the overlord of any, maybe not any, but of certain Magna Graecian city-states when they're attacked by the Romans. Of course, Elea was attacked by the Romans, and the reason I think this is because Epirus is actually in the Roman-Elean War as the overlord of Elea, which I don't think was the case before this war started. I think this is some scripting stuff from the Epirus missions. I'm not super familiar with the Epirus content, but I think that's probably what's going on here. I don't know how else to explain this, but nonetheless, Epirus is really going to town on the Romans in southern Magna Graecia. They've even brought in a local Italian ally, Samnium, to join the fun. Samnium is currently having their capital sieged by the very powerful Italian levy, which would probably have been able to beat my army even before my siege and assault at Eternum, and definitely could beat me on land now, even if I combined all of my remaining forces. Thankfully for me, the way that this all worked out was pretty fortunate. I had some bad luck at points in this war, but things have definitely been very, very lucky overall, as the main Roman strength has been very preoccupied in the south and hasn't really responded to my actions in the north with any effectiveness. This basically went about as well as it could have for a war like this, and I'm certainly going to take full advantage of how it worked out like this. Now, we've got 70 war score to work with, and ultimately, while I could potentially squeeze some additional war score out by getting to work on sieging some of the feudatories, I don't ultimately think it is too critical, as the peace deal that I can pull off with this war score, and we looked at a few possible ways of doing this in the previous episode, would more or less accomplish my goal. Now, it would be nice to actually fully annex the Romans, and there's a version of this peace deal if the Epirotes weren't occupying parts of southern Magna Graecia, where I could actually fully annex the Romans and just release the rest of the territory. The issue is, with this other war in effect, the upside of it is that it has distracted the Romans, and actually post-war with my war, it will continue to threaten their destruction, which is my ultimate goal. Whether I do it or Pyrrhus does it, either way is fine by me. I just need the Roman tag out of this game one way or another. Even if I'm not the executioner, I will happily be a spectator to the whole affair. But the point is that the peace deals that I can do leave Rome with so little and so badly devastate their economy, their manpower economy, everything, that even though I never like the idea of leaving them alive and just hoping the AI takes care of it, under the circumstances, this is a pretty good version of that outcome. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do here. Now, in terms of what I want to directly annex or what I want to give to other countries, I know for sure that I'm going to actually do a deal that involves me directly taking all of the territory in Italia and the Magna Graecian territory. And whether I keep all of this or give some of it to other countries, I'm not as sure about right now. I may decide that once we have the territory in hand. One example of territory that I think I probably will give away, or ideally sell for money, is the territory in the Tuscia province, which I would be completely fine giving to Etruria. I want to build my relationship with Etruria, my most expected likely next enemy in the Italian peninsula. I need to not calling it the Roman peninsula in this timeline is definitely not accurate. It's about to be the Etrurian peninsula at this rate. But Etruria, as they often do, is really focused on Cisalpine Gaul. Although the destruction of Rome may kind of change their AI a little bit, though they're certainly not going to feel comfortable attacking me if I own the territory. But I have other areas of the world where I and Etruria could become sort of colonial rivals, such as on Sardinia and Corsica. We'll, of course, fight Etruria in the future. Maybe we can somehow get them into being a client state and then integrate them, but I don't know how likely that is under all the circumstances. This is much more likely to be a future rival than anything else. But at least temporarily, I want to firmly turn my attention away from Italy, an area that is already pushing the extent of my overextension, and turn back towards North Africa, where I have a lot of money to reinvest, especially towards all the new territory that I've been gaining in the background from diplomatic annexations. Utica, and then the two southern Punic republics, Emporia and Tripolitania, are all being integrated right now. The latter two have a ways to go, given their size, but Utica is only a couple of, really about a year away. And I'm working now on building relations with my Greek city-state clients over on Sicily, Heracleum, Minoa, Selinus, and Thermae. Once all of that is secure, I'll also be in a better position to finally oppose Syracuse. I'm more confident in taking on Syracuse as opposed to Etruria, because I actually want to consolidate my control in Magna Graecia, in part to ward off aggressive eastern assailants like the Epirotes, who probably also want to colonize Magna Graecia in the power vacuum I'll be creating shortly, and they'll be partially helping to create with the destruction of the Roman Republic. So, as you can tell, Magna Graecia, which was already kind of a border war disaster, is about to become even more of a chaotic zone with just a lot going on. And while it's tempting to try to kill the Rome tag and then just draw back to Africa, I think I need to put down roots on the Italian peninsula. This place has some very, very high quality terrain, and it's ultimately still within my core area of kind of the sort of central Mediterranean, slightly western Mediterranean area of the map, which I want to really firmly control. Ultimately, the Italian peninsula also has really good northern defensive terrain, famously so, which I can, for example, reach the borders of Cisalpine Gaul and pretty much be happy to end my northward expansion there. I do eventually want to control more than obviously just a couple regions, but the Cisalpine Gaul borders on every side except for the peninsular side are so famously good defensive terrain to set up with that I'm very happy to go to that and then call it there for European expansion in this area for quite a while. So I think it makes sense to actually hold a lot of this territory, though just for the sake of provincial organization, I think I may sell these two territories but sell them to Etruria and potentially keep the rest. I could also potentially go to war with Ancona and the Senones later on to secure much of the rest of, the one remaining territory in Picenum, and then the rest of Ariminum, except for the stuff held by Etruria. Maybe they'll sell it to me. Probably not, though. We'll see what we can do later. But this is a low priority, long-term goal. Having the territory in my control pretty securely holds it in place, because most of these countries, like these little tribes, there's no way they're going to attack the Carthaginian Empire. Etruria might attack me, but I'm not as concerned. The Romans, I was pretty confident, just given a couple of decades, would be confident enough to attack me no matter what, and their missions would guide them there. The Etrurians may have alt history missions that lead them into kind of creating an Etrurian/Carthaginian version of the Punic Wars, but I don't know exactly if that's true or how that works. I know for sure the Romans have that, so that's why I was so hyper-focused on knocking the Romans out of the game. And we essentially will pull this off with this peace deal. So let's get back to it. I think this deal here is a good start, and then I can also, with my remaining available war score, squeeze in having them release Pucetia and Lucania. This will limit the Romans to just these 4 territories on the inland of Magna Graecia, an area which has, let's see here. What do we have here in terms of culture? Okay, we've got 4 Romans present in this territory, which is not that much for powering their levies and giving them manpower. So unless they're going to be integrating the Sibilians and the Messapians, they're going to really struggle to bounce back from this one. Now, they do still have their feudatories, who they can integrate in time, and that can help them regrow their territory, but they're going to be regrowing in all sorts of weird directions with hostile Italians around them like Samnium and Magna Graecians nearby, Epirus breathing down their neck. The newly released countries in the south I can even potentially guarantee, and I can do a lot to ensure, through soft power this time, that what remains of Rome has nowhere to go but down. So I think the time for Roma to be destroyed has come, needless to say. Let's go ahead and take this deal. And this is pretty much a min-max deal. I can't really squeeze anything further from this. I can't also take, I'm allowed to take Nucaria, but this is too expensive, and I don't think I can get to that much war score with the time that I have here. Can I squeeze in Pompeii? I cannot. Okay. Yeah, that is not possible. That's okay. This is a pretty good deal for me. Let's go ahead and take this deal. Here we go. Alright, conquest of Carthage. The city of Carthage has finally fallen to our troops and is now in our hands. The city was the home and the center of the budding Roman Republic, known for their ruthless and impressive war prowess. Rapidly expanding outwards from their home, they became a major player in the politics of the peninsula and started interacting with the nations all across the Mediterranean. With the city under our control, our men and advisors wonder how we should treat our old enemy. There have been people asking for us to sack the city to the ground and bring everything valuable back to Carthage. Okay, so we've renamed the city of Roma to Carthage, which is actually more insulting to the Romans than anything else I can think of, honestly, is renaming their city to the Carthaginian name, so we'll come back to that. Here is the peace deal. The Italic regional power of Rome, local power now, rightly so, except for generous peace offer. Roman Latium to Carthage, Roman Tuscia to Carthage. Hold on. Oh, you know what actually happened here? The other countries I released didn't include the territory occupied by Epirus. That is interesting. I didn't know that would happen. What does this mean for their Roman population? They don't actually have any more Roman population, so that's okay. It's even messier now than I had expected. Oh, actually, what about here? Okay. And anyways, Roman Latium to Carthage, Roman Tuscia to Carthage, Roman Aeternum to Carthage, Roman Picenum to Carthage, Roman Ariminium to Carthage, Roman Campania to Carthage, and then we liberated the parts of Pucetia and Lucania that were not controlled by the Epirotes. Okay. So I can gain some popularity, and Carthage is grateful for 10 years. I can steal their artifacts, and they're not happy with this. I also kill 12.5% of the population. I also gain 141 gold and gain some prominence for Giscon Gisconi. Or I can absolutely just obliterate it and make it a settlement, which is... Now, I'm actually thinking of making the capital of Latium Ostia, as it's technically a better city under my usual capital guidelines than Carthage. It is also farmland on the river, but it's also coastal. Now, because it has a port, it doesn't actually have the coastal population bonus, as I've talked about before, but it has all the advantages of being a port city, which are pretty substantial. I also was thinking about Lavinium as another alternative. It's also coastal, so it could also have a port. It's not on the river, so it misses out on 5% possible pop capacity, but it's in a slightly better location in the province, I think. But I do think ultimately Ostia is the better spot. Ostia could be an iron mine alternatively, whereas Lavinium would just be salt, so I'd also be more fine with Lavinium not being able to support settlement infrastructure. I think ultimately, while Carthage could remain a city, I think it's very thematic to sack the city and just say Roma delenda est, a very satisfying reversal of the historical reality. This is going to give me Roman morale for 10 years, plus 10% morale of armies and manpower. I get 375 gold. Gisconi gets tons of prominence. He does gain some corruption and loses a bit of popularity. We have a year and a half left in his term, so I think I could probably survive this. Carthage becomes a settlement, which is very insulting. Also, it's actually covered by my face cam. I guess you can hear me describe it. I didn't even realize. And Carthage gets heavily looted for 20 years. Local population happiness minus 25%. And we just slaughter 33% of the population by doing this. I think I'm going to go ahead and sack the city, leaving nothing of value behind. Will it keep, though, the Great Wonder? I think it will. It doesn't say that it destroys it. Carthage can keep the Wonder, so it gives me the bonuses. But while I may eventually rebuild a city here, because it's a good city location, I don't ultimately need to have this be a city right this second. And I kind of want to go for this. Sack the city, leave nothing of value behind. All right, there we go. It actually kept its fort as well, which I'm going to go ahead and cancel. It can just be the ruins surrounding the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus. I'm going to go ahead and also move the capital now to Ostia. All right. Okay, so having done that, we can go ahead now and fire the mercs. Thank you for your service. These guys really put in the work. Bring all the boys home. You, I need to stop moving once you get here. 18th of May. We'll let one day go by so they can be lowered. Alright, that is everyone back. And Carrie wants to trade with me. Okay, sure. Okay, so we've got a number of problems to deal with. First of all, we have all this new territory, and we need to figure out exactly what we're doing over here. We also renamed, what was this place called? I literally forgot what this place was called. It's been renamed to Carthage, which is also the name of our capital. So we've renamed a couple of these places to Carthaginian names. Any other instances of that? Not too many. Okay. So, first things first, let's see if Etruria would like to be my new friend. Oh, okay. They don't want to be my ally. That's interesting. Yeah, AE. Yeah, you don't say. We're lowering it. We're working on it. We do have Divine Sacrifices running. Okay, we'll just have to let that lower. I think, will these guys buy this territory if I offer it to them? They will for, okay, they actually will for a little bit of money. I'll sell them this stuff for a little bit of gold. All right, and then we'll sell them this as well afterwards. We'll have to wait the month for that. Okay. So, let's see, one thing at a time here. All of my forces are gone. We can decrease the pay. Decrease the fleet maintenance as well. You guys can return back to Carthage. Reserve. Yeah, they were in a bit more than a reserve capacity for this time. I'm going to go ahead and fire her. I don't want to keep paying her. I don't need this navy to have an admiral at the moment. All right. Very nice. Okay, let's go ahead and see what we want to do with our new territory around here. Let's see. Okay, so in Campania, this has fallen under my Magna Graecia governor, Rudakeno Bithi. Corruption here is not great, but I will come back to that. We control half of this province. We're likely to only control half of it for quite a while. Yeah, let's see. So, are these both considered on the river? This one's not on the river. Okay. This one is on the river, which means Carthage should probably be the capital. It's fine by me. It has the Carthaginian name, after all, so this is the... If Carthage is the new city, this is New Carthage, or new city, I guess. Okay, so what do we have here? Port can stay. Training camps can honestly go. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got stone in the capital. I actually don't have stone in the capital. Glad I checked. Okay, let me cancel my stone export. Good. Yeah. I'll keep trading to Syracuse. Right now I got double stone. Alright, let's go ahead and fortify this immediately. No time to waste. We got plenty of money right now. We're going to finally attend to our infrastructure needs after quite a long time of putting that on the back burner. How is this going along? Walls of Carthage is still underway. Glad we didn't need this in this war. Okay, should Capua remain a city? I think it might be easier. What do we have here? Fruits up here with a farming settlement. That's actually quite good. Okay. Capua could be demoted to a settlement, potentially. There's a lot of population here. Yeah, I need to keep this on harsh treatment to demote. I think we'll leave Capua as a city for now, but I will go ahead and strip it of its other buildings. Okay, what do we have around here? Farm for the grain, that's good. Slave estate for the cloth. That's probably fine. Yeah, you know, I'll leave the slave estates where I find them. Yeah, the Roma has been busy with infrastructure. Look at this smart infrastructure construction. Gotta love it. Let's build a mine at Cures. Okay, so over here, I think I'm going to go ahead and demote all of the cities except for Ostia. This is not, like, this is strong territory, but I don't really feel like I can support this many cities when they're all wrong culture, wrong religion. This place is going to be super messy to get under control, so I want to try to get these people migrating out of here as much as possible. So reducing the territory ranks except for in Ostia, and they also move them into Ostia, which could be good. So let's go ahead and do some revocations. And you know what? I'm going to actually... I've got plenty of tyranny room. Let's actually revoke Capua's status as well. And then Lavinium can be revoked. First, let me get some free money for that. There we go. Tiber can be revoked. And Waiti can be revoked. Alright. And then Kart Ramat will just basically be this temple surrounded by smoking ruins. That is as it should be. Okay. Yeah, people are not too thrilled here, but I guess that sucks to be them. Okay, this place also has tons of import routes. We'll come back to that later. We have a lot to do here, so one thing at a time. Ostia, what do we have here? Level 2 port, okay. I wouldn't mind having a level 3 port in Ostia. Ostia can actually become my Italian capital, essentially. Kind of a parallel to Carthage in the south. It could even be at Carthage as well. It'd be kind of funny if I find all the places that are renamed Carthage and I make them my local capitals, but this is such a strong province, Ostia should really be given a level 3 port so it can help build hex arrays. First, though, I'm going to fortify it, and then I'll build the level 3 port after that. Okay. And incidentally, the great wonder of the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, it gives me as a country plus 10% omen power and plus 20% improved opinion maximum, and it gives the province of Latium plus 10 migration attraction and plus 15% pop conversion speed. Very nice. Right, this is going to go over, I should have checked if this had a building, it does not. This is going to be sold over to Etruria later on. I guess I could actually sell it to Umbria. I mean, will they buy it? Hold on. They actually will buy it. I guess it doesn't have to go to Etruria. I guess Umbria can buy this. We'll help Umbria. Umbria somehow survived their war with Rome, so we're going to feed them a little bit of extra land. All right, Umbria. Go ahead and buy that. All right. Umbria grows. Incredible. Umbria could actually be kind of a useful way for me to control Etruria, because I could potentially guarantee Umbria. They don't like me too much right now because of my AE, but Umbria, looking at Umbria's situation, they don't have a lot of options here about what to do. And Umbria could become my little friends to help me take Etrurian land later. So I'm going to keep Umbria in my back pocket, potentially, as a future assistant. All right, so this fort can go... What do we have around here? Yeah, the Romans have developed a lot of this land pretty well. I mean, I say that looking at undeveloped land. Over here, what's this? I'm actually interested in selling Eternum to Frentania. But Frentania is currently Rome's feudatory, but I think it's probably fine to still sell it. Let me go ahead and strip it of everything. That can go, that can go. And then, would you like to buy this, Frentania? They would take it for free. I just want to, I don't want to have to deal with extra territories out of my current provinces, so let's just give it to Frentania. All right, that's fine. Okay, and then over here, I think Firmum Picenum is probably the best territory. It's most central, at least. I do need to eventually fight Ancona to get this, but this is a low priority. Plus, this is already a city. Let's go ahead and fortify Firmum Picenum, and then build a port afterwards. This will be my capital. Also, I'll make it the capital, too. All right. Then up here, let's see. Best capital location up here is probably Arimna, but we'll go for that later. For now, I think I probably just want to fortify Iguvium, I should say. Although, I could just sell this stuff over to the Senones. And this is part of Italia, so maybe I want to push for this later. I could also sell it to Etruria. Giving this stuff to Etruria... No, I actually don't want to do that. I want to hold this... I don't want Etruria to be able to start taking territory on the north side of these mountains. I mean, they will probably fight the Boii eventually. Or the Boii? I guess the Boii is a different group. I mean, they'd win that fight anyways. Maybe I hold it for now. What do we have around here? Wood and stone. Let me go ahead and... let me revoke it for now. We'll just hold it for now. That's fine. Okay. And that is all of my new territory in Italy attended to. The border gore situation here is pretty gnarly, but that is that. Okay. And then, let's see. Is there by chance a colony I can set up in Ostia? There is. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this going now. So this is wildly off of the cooldown. We're many years after the cooldown, but I may as well start this now. This is the best place for it. Now, losing the 20 loyalty in the Latium province is going to be a little painful, but I think it's worth it to get some Carthaginians up here, some Punics up here. All right, let's go ahead and found a colony in Ostia. Right, the arrival of Punic settlers has hardly endeared the local population to us, but the foundation of a colony in this area is without a doubt the best way to exert control here in the long run. Soon, even the local Roman inhabitants will see how our city will prosper and surpass any previous settlements they may have had in this area before the land was confiscated. All right, Ostia grows. Very nice. Yeah, that is fine. Okay, so let's come back over here. We have got a lot of new territory to also deal with over here. Now, Macam Hadash, I think, is the best territory given its nearby river bonus. Some of these areas, like, for example, Akol and Tapsor are just much better spots for the province, but this is technically the best spot, I think, for the actual capital. Let's see. This is all Punic and Canaanite. I think areas that are already Punic and Canaanite, I'm going to largely keep the cities there, because these are still strong city locations. Let me go ahead and defortify this. And now that I am not in urgent need of money, let's see. I also, oh, you know, I should have actually destroyed this fort before. That's fine, we'll do it now. Okay. So over here, I think Tinismot should probably be the capital. Yeah, nearby river. Is this also nearby river? It is. Parode. I think Parode is actually the better spot. It's in a better location in the province as well. So let me move the capital to Parode. And I still don't have the discount yet. I need to wait for... We're also at our efficiency cap now. Let me increase taxation. How about now? Okay, that's really efficient then if we're at our cap now. Holy crap. Okay. The riches are going to pour in now. You'll see. Let me also build a mine out here, just because I'm looking at it. Okay, so I think any farmland, coastal farmland, even dry coastal farmland, it's worth having a city. I think that's going to be my standard, especially in areas that are already Canaanite and Punic. Places on, like, Italy, removing the cities is part of my colonization strategy, but in Africa, all these cities should really stay. So let me go ahead and fortify Parode preemptively, and then I'll make it a city later. And then, let's see here. I have so much to do. I'm also thinking of potentially waiting to do all of my governor reorganization until after the next election. I think I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to wait a year and a half. So it looks like Laith Gerbili is going to come in as the new Chopet. 6696, very strong. Joined by Melkart Shamo Sidoni, who I think was actually one of our invited characters, if I remember correctly. That name seems familiar. That's a lot of charisma. Actually, this is a very strong charisma duo, but that's pretty much all this guy has to offer. This is a trad Democrat ticket, which means omen power. So I should actually do buildings while I still have oligarchs in charge. Needless to say. Utica should finish before that, though, which is quite nice. Okay. So, let's see. I think what I need to do, so I've got my forts laid out up here. Over here, let me finally revisit the situation in Sicania. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove the port from Lelubim and fortify it and move the capital here. Lelubim will be my capital in Sicania long term. And this fort here can go... this is a hills territory. Zitz won't actually be my a city long term. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and revoke the city status here. And then same thing from Caprot. I don't think this needs to be a city. Let's go ahead and do that there. We've got a farm here. Okay. And then, let's see here. This has the Wonder. This is Plains. Ooh, it's Dies and Plains. Interesting. Slave estate there would go crazy. Yeah, we can have a lot of cities around here. So I know I got rid of all of those ports. I think here's the thing. I'm going to rebuild ports at capital locations after I fortify them. So for example, Maqam Hadash, I'm going to go ahead and fortify. And then I'll build a port there later. But other cities, I won't necessarily fortify all of them. In theory, long term, I will control the seas, and no one's getting to these unfortified cities unless it's through like a lot of things going wrong. Okay, over here, this port, I'll keep the ports that are in the current long-term city locations, though. All right, so let's revisit this question. So this is a hills territory. Let's see. Rushikad is plains, though it should be an iron mine. In fact, I think it should be an iron mine so much, but actually revoke city status. Kulkatani. It's actually kind of an okay spot. There's no rivers here except for inland, but then it's hills. I think I'll make Kulkatani the capital. Having a coastal capital is so enormously helpful for me for obvious reasons. Plus, I don't actually own a lot of the internal territory. And let's go ahead and fortify it. Opon, I'm going to go ahead and revoke. All right. And then over here, let's see. Hills, hills, and hills. Okay. Well, I have a lot of options around here. This may have to be an interior city just out of lack of good terrain. So I think for now I'll just kind of leave it as it is. I think I will revoke this city status because it's hills. Okay. Over here, again, it's probably going to be an internal city, so I'll just keep it at Choba for now. This will be a farm later. Let's see. Yule, I'm going to go ahead and revoke. This can be a marble mine. Ikosim. This is plains, so this would work. It's also in a kind of good spot for the province. Yeah, Rushikor is not a great spot. Ikosim or Rushkaon are good spots. I think I probably want to go for Ikosim. It also has a port already. I'm going to remove that to make room for a fort. I'll move the capital here. And then Rushikor, I'm going to go ahead and revoke. How are we looking on party opinion? This is manageable. I can survive this. Okay. And over here, I barely own any of this, so I can't really make any calls here. I know for sure this won't be a city long term, so let me just revoke this now. Cart tennis. And then same thing over here. I have barely any territory. None of these should actually be cities. That's what I'm going to revoke. Also going to take the port. Okay. And we did this before. All right, and then while I'm over here, I think I probably want, let's see, probably Badia to be the city over here. It is technically on, wait, no, it's not on a river. What am I talking about? It's plains, though. The only plains coastal. I think having Badia be the city over here. Yeah, because Oroki should be a gold mine. Which culture is this? This is the Bastetonians. Where is it currently put in the capital at? It's at Oroki, okay. But if I move everything to Badia, it may switch over. I think it's worth going for that. Let's go ahead and move the capital to Badia. Build a fort there. Then Oroki, I'm going to go ahead and revoke now. Okay. And then Ibasim. This probably should be a city. Well, hold on. Long term, Gymnasia is, it's a neurogic island. The best territory in the province is Guiam over here. So Ibasim probably won't be a city long term. It's not a terrible spot for a city, though. It's a good strategic spot, but I think Guiam is a little better. I think Ibasim should probably just be a port territory long term. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm gonna defortify it, revoke. I'm being ruthless here. We're really taking the long-term approach here. Okay, we'll come back to Sardinia. There's so much to deal with on Sardinia. Okay, actually, we've dealt with everywhere else. Okay, so on Sardinia, where do I even start? I basically have 3 cities I think I want to revoke. I'm still on the fence about Tarshish, although I know I don't need an aqueduct there. Tarshish is not a bad spot, but ultimately, I really want the capital to be at Karali. That's not the right map mode. Sardan, let's see. It still puts it at Tarshish. If I revoke Tarshish's status, I'm gonna go for it. And then while I'm here, Sulki, you can go, and Nura can go as well. I can always make Tarshish a city later, but for now I need to prioritize centralizing my population. And then Karali, I'm gonna go ahead and fortify it. It's about time. It is about time. Okay, so this should move. Here it is. Okay, Karali. I think Karali will be my next colony. I need to get Sardinia under control. Actually, it's okay right now, but still, long term, we're gonna have issues. Okay, that is an initial pass over all of my current territory. We'll need to take a look at Utica and the southern republics when they integrate, but yeah, now we're able to finally turn away a little bit from the Italian peninsula, but we still have more money we can reinvest. And I think let's take a look at my mission here. I probably want to do Suburb of Megara, which is just 75 gold, and it needs to have a level 3 fort. Although this is going to give me all the fort level. I don't even need to build more forts here. Do I actually need to even have a fort here? Hold on, how does this work? If it's just +3 fort level, I think that should count as a fort, right? I mean, I guess we'll see. Let me get rid of the fort. I'm curious what's going to happen if it gives the fort level and it actually like adds the building icon back, or like how that works for me. Maybe I need to have a fort there for it to count. Let's let Carthage not have a fort briefly and just kind of see what happens with this this thing here. I mean, this will be enough for level 3, or I mean a fort level of 3. And then 75 gold, we're going to have that. The modifiers here are so powerful. And this requires the same thing, level 3 fort level. That's certainly worth getting. Holy crap. And then this is bypassed. And then this we just get, this is insanely powerful, yeah. So this stuff over here, I don't really know, what exactly do I need for this? So it requires this territory to be unclaimed province, or an unclaimed territory. The issue is Karenica pretty firmly controls this, and I don't think they're going to give it up. So I think we kind of can't do this section over here, which is a shame, but I think it's ultimately not the end of the world. This is a pretty quick mission, so happy to just complete that there. Okay, with the rest of my money, I think what I need to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and resume building more hex arrays. I'm going to build them to this navy as well. Let's see, where's the button? Build to navy. It's just going to build from Carthage. That's the only place that can build them right now, but eventually Ostia can build them too. So let's go ahead and just add in order of, how many do we need still? 13. Okay, that's 13. Order has been placed. I can always, once I have level 3 port here, I can cancel some and rebuild them, and it'll build from Ostia, be a little bit faster. All right. I also think now is a good time to actually get a holy site up and running. I've got money, I've got PI, and there's no holy sites for my religion right now. And I think going for Melkart still makes a lot of sense. Melkart's a god I anticipate probably keeping permanently for this slot. Pop Assimilation passive and Commerce Income Omen is pretty hard to beat. But in fairness, I don't remember 100% for sure if there's other economy gods that are superior to Melkart. But let's see what are... I mean, I guess it just shows us these ones here. I think Melkart probably makes... It's also, from a roleplay point of view, Melkart having a temple in Carthage just makes a lot of sense, I think. So let's go ahead and establish a temple to Melkart in Carthage. I think this is probably worth going for. Unless there's some reason I'd go for a different god over I think Melkart's the most important one to get the temple up for. Yeah, especially with the pop assimilation being boosted. Helps offset our national heritage. Let's go for it in Carthago. Unless I can make it a metropolis. I can almost make it a metropolis. That's an interesting idea. I could get it to 80 pop. You know what? Getting Carthage to be a metropolis after I razed Roma to the ground and renamed it to Cart Ramat is so deliciously evil and vengeful that I kind of want to go for it. I'm really just making my point to the Romans here. I think I kind of want to go for this. I need to wait to have 100 PI, but I'm almost there. This is definitely doable. Also, what's going on up here with... Oh my god, what? Okay, I think it's worth it to get to Metropolis before I change those policies. Okay, let's go ahead and unpause finally, speed 2. All right, we've got trade requests as well. Very nice. These guys here, I'm going to merge into the reserve army. The reserve navy once they're back. There, we got food problems. Yeah, I know. Maybe these guys don't to die. Strength is pretty good, actually. We should be fine. Alright. Good stuff. That was wild. That was a really, really fun war. I was nervous the entire war. I don't know if you could tell. I was really, really nervous I was going to screw it up, but we pulled it off. Okay, let's just completely reorganize our entire trade network, because we can probably reach quite a few more people. And I want to get a handle on what exactly we have and don't have. Still no Sylphium for sale, which is a shame, but we can also cancel some of these wartime trades that I don't really need the bonuses of. Okay, so first things first. I don't think I need double wine or double base metals right now. Yeah, I don't think so. I can't get double glass or double gemstones or double glass. I will get double precious metals. Let's trade with the Iberians as much as possible. All right, absolutely necessary. I can get a single copy of Papyrus. That's actually it, though. Let's see. I do want to get double dates again. Obviously, let's trade with the Africans. All right. And then it's probably worth it to actually just grab whatever camels I can for extra commerce locally. Even if I don't get double camels, which I don't here. Okay, we have olives already. 1 copy of fruit. Okay, that's it though. Let's trade for... Let's get double fish. We actually have a lot of slots here. Let's trade with Karenica and... I'll trade with Christ twice. The Freeman Happiness. And then the livestock. Trade even more with Karenica. And with Etruria, that's what I like to see. Trade with everyone. I'm Carthage. I want people's goods. And I've got goods for sale too. Okay. Double vegetables would make my Metropolis plan a little easier, but I think this is a very minor bonus for what's not that much movement, so maybe not. Let's see. I don't actually have... No, I do have... What am I talking about? I have double wood locally. Of course I do. I could just trade for... Actually, let me wait for the tick. Maybe some of these things will update. They did not actually update that much. Okay, let's go what we can. Let's get the glass. Oh, I can get double glass. Ooh, I didn't realize. Okay. I am trading from the Antigonids, who are back? What? Hold on. Did I see that right? Who am I getting this glass from? Amanthea? Wait, no, that's their territory. Oh my gosh, I swear to God, this interface. I will leap from the Earth into space. I don't know why that's a threat I'm making. I don't think the interface cares about that. Where are they? I thought they were killed. Where is the Antigonid Kingdom? They survive somewhere. Hold on. I must find them. I must know. Actually, hold on. I can figure this out from the territory name. Amanthea is... Oh, they're here? What? Huh? What? What has happened over here? Okay, this is cursed, but I don't know what else I would have expected. Okay, Antigonids survive in, like, the core of Macedon. What on earth happened up here? Okay, this is just... And Ptolemaics are here. Okay, alright. Sure, if that's what you want to do. Okay. At least I know they exist. I'm getting double glass. How about double gemstones? Could that be arranged? Okay, 1 gemstone is fine. And then I guess for the rest I could trade for value. Bring in some more gold from Egypt. Alright. And then any other... bring in some papyrus from Egypt as well. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay, and then I was gonna do something else. What was it? I don't remember what it was, but let's just wait. Yeah, let's just keep waiting. We also should have a lot of slaves around here to work with for movement. We should be able to get to 80, doably. I could improve opinion with the Etrurians. It's not a bad idea. I'm nervous that they're going to see how difficult it would be, and it would be difficult for me to defend my new Italian holdings and attack me once they're done in their northern wars. So let's improve relations with them, just to be on the safe side. And while I'm at it, let's improve relations with Syracuse as well. I will come for these guys later, but I don't mind spending some money right now if I can control when those wars begin and have it happen on my terms. Okay, I think the Romans are already starting to have some manpower problems. They did not lose this much from just siege attrition. They're running out of guys because I have them all in my territory now. Alright. Navy is returning. Very nice. I also noticed that I actually don't have a port now over here, which is a little funny, but it'll be fine. Hopefully no one tries to attack me in Sicily, take advantage of my portless ways. That would be a dastardly scheme, but hopefully they don't think of doing that. How's my divine sacrifices looking? Okay, September of next year. Alright. We'll just merge this force together for now. It is the reserve after all. It wasn't ever meant go into war, but we use the reserve as our navy. Didn't actually have any serious naval combat, but we did snipe a couple of Roman ships here and there. All right. Very exciting opening to this campaign. A bit more explosive than normal, but I think I explained my reasons pretty thoroughly here. All right, if you guys want to trade wine, that's fine. What is this? In Subria. Interesting. The Lathe is not pleased, but it's okay. We're gonna be a ways away from getting these guys up to assimilation range, or integration range, I should say. But it's worth it to have them all locked in as client states. It is annoying to be losing the PI, but I think it ultimately... Ooh, Rome's dead. Rome is dead. Let's verify. Yep, feudatories are free. Huh? This is a different war? Independence of Campania. Okay, there's already chaos in Magna Graecia. But Roma Delenda est. I struck the 95% killing blow, and then Pyrrhos struck the remaining 5% part of the killing blow. That's not really how killing blows work, but we did it with a little help from our Epirot friends. Roma is no more, as it should be. And now, all that we have to show for it is the world's most convoluted Magna Graecia. Behold, with horror, what I've created in southern Italy. This is just an absolute mess. Alright, Epirus, I hope that you're not going to make me regret sort of helping you out. Oh, interesting. Let's improve relations with Epirus, too. I'm taking no risks here. I don't trust this guy at all to keep the peace in Italy, so let's play it safe here. I'm willing to spend the dough up front, and it's worth it. All right, Utica should integrate pretty soon here. Let's go up to speed 3. Okay, looking good. You know, I can actually probably afford well, actually, no, I can't. I need 100. That's right. Was it PI that I had enough of already? I mean, if Epirus wants to conquer more of these guys, it's not the end of the world. All right, what do we lose? It was the glass. Egypt? Oh, I see. Right. The Diadochi, the assume control of the provinces mechanic is in full effect, I see. That's great. Okay, well, let's, I don't have, well, what should I get in the meantime? I guess I can get fruit in the meantime. Actually, no, that's local fruit, never mind. I guess I'll trade for cloth. Sure, trade with the Iberians. Senate support is in great shape. They love it. All right, if you say so. Lathe is going to win. What is? It seems like in my elections, it's always a very, very strong front runner, and then someone who's really far behind. Interesting. The Walls of Carthage. A grand celebration is held today in Carthage as the final section of the new city walls have been completed. For 2 years, we've been working to secure our city against future invasion, and the hard work has paid off. A series of 3 ever more impressive walls now stretch across the isthmus, which connects Carthage to the mainland. The first wall is little more than a ditch and palisade, but the third rises 15 meters above the plains in front of it, with towers even 9 meters taller. No longer will we have to fear a repeat of Agathocles' invasion. These walls are sure to stop even the most determined of invaders. Carthage shall endure. Okay. So, it seems like what actually happened here is there's no fort bonus unless there's actually a fort that's here. So that's good to know. Let me build the fort again. I thought that might be how this works, but good to verify that. I won't be able to get away with no physical fort being here. The fort level seemed to be stuck at 0 unless there's at least one from a building. Fair enough. Okay, and we actually should get 2 more slots after the tick as well. I guess we'll see, actually, after the tick if it updates. Oh, it did update. Okay. I stand. Very much corrected. Okay, we just have a fort here now. Or a level 3 fort, even. Yep, there it is. You can see it in the interface. It is a little expensive, to be sure, but that's a very fortified Carthage right there. Now we've got even more buildings we can build here. We could get up to a level 6 port, which would be overkill, and definitely not necessary here. Probably aqueducts is the way to go here, especially if I'm trying to get to a sustainable metropolis size. I could really gain quite a bit from some other stuff, though. I could get 3 academies. This would be huge. Ooh, man. 15% noble ratio in Carthage. Do metropolises have a minimum city, or a minimum population requirement? I don't think they do. I'm going to quickly do an old-fashioned Misadventurer drink. I'm going to go on my cell phone while the recording is going to verify, because I want to know this information before I make my next action. Metropolis. Let's just see. Alright, Imperator Wiki. Share with me your secrets. They have stronger mechanics. Okay. They actually give more pop capacity from being a metropolis. Okay. I think I can probably get away. Assuming that Invictus doesn't dramatically change the pop capacity bonuses of being a metropolis, I can probably get away without building aqueducts right now. We can always come back to it. Let's go ahead and... Actually, let's not do anything until we don't need the money to do the metropolis construction, but we will come back to that later. Okay, let's wait for the next month to do that. Yeah, I'll do a complete government reorganization after the election, and to take the chance to bring in probably some new governors. We have a lot of new characters from those integrations that we did. Definitely want to make use of them in some positions of power. One more. Actually, I completely forgot. Let's go ahead and do these as well. So this will give Carthage, suburb of Megara, plus 8 pop capacity, plus 10% local monthly food modifier, and plus 10% local desired citizen ratio. We also get some free nobles and citizens, extending the walls not just across the isthmus, but also to encircle the plains on the peninsula north of the city, will greatly expand the size of the city. So much so that the land will not have to be filled with cramped urban dwellings to house all our people, but can instead house spacious villas and agricultural land. Megara will thus not just lead to an increase in the population of the city, but also secure a food supply in case of siege. Yes, I will go for that. Oh, it takes a number of months. Okay, 60 days. That's fine. Get that underway. Harvest of Balhaman. The territory of Choba in Sitafensia. This is one of my Numidia areas. It's over here somewhere. Here it is. Choba has seen a huge, surprising growth in their grain production this year. The yearly festival in honor of Balhaman must have paid off, as he has clearly given this area his blessing. Our advisors wonder if it is better if we share this bountiful blessing with the rest of our nation as well, all taking part in the gift. I think, yeah, why would I ever give it to give it to the country, please, Popgriff. He blessed all of Carthage. Alright, thanks for that one, Balhaman. Really appreciate it. That's almost done. What happened? Is this more of the... Oh boy, yeah, it is. I don't suppose you've got more glass for me. Breaking Bad moment. Okay. Let's see. Cancel the cloth. Oh, come on. Alright, let's bring in some... Really, cloth is the best one here. Alright, we'll trade for the cloth again. At least for now. Keep an eye on that, though. Alright. I'm actually going to wait a little bit longer so we can finish integrating Utica, and then make use of the population up here as well. But we will do that in the next episode of the Carthage Campaign. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.